Women only receive 2% of all venture capital. We're 51% of the population. We make 85% of all of the healthcare decisions, yet we get 2% of the investment? That's insane. 94% of all investment is controlled by men. They don't want to hear the word breast or vagina. They barely even know where the ovaries are. They don't know what endometriosis is. They don't know that women present differently for heart attacks. I left corporate and I started my company the next day. What was your gift? Never accepting the status quo. I always ask why. Tell me why we can't change it. Tell me how we can make it better. What I have found is that there needs to be more women innovators, women entrepreneurs, women leading companies. Maybe her daughter can go to school. Maybe she can develop the cure for cancer. Maybe she's a Nobel Prize winner. You don't know.
Estás entrando en Rivela, universo TPG, mujeres que rompen barreras y cambian el mundo. Hoy viene una inversora, emprendedora, filántropa, la verdad es que tiene un montón de caras, de Estados Unidos, Nueva York. Ya veréis cómo se las gasta. Algunas que otras verdades va a decir. Y ahora, a ladrar. Wof, wof.
A really women champion of the world. It's like, come on, introduce yourself, because this is the third time that I'm trying to do that and I'm so nervous that it's not happening. So please, Marissa, do me the favor.
Thank you. I'm Marissa Fayer, the CEO of Deep Look Medical and also the CEO of her HealthTech. I'm also sitting on the board of several different investment firms and other companies and everything having to do with women and women's health, only women's health.
The truth is, I'm so impressed about your story. It's like your trajectory. You are a philanthropist, you are an entrepreneur, you have been working as an investor. I guess you are an investor again. Yes. You're in the board of several associations to support IE and women. I mean, come on. It's a real privilege for me to have you here and also for the audience to be able to know more about your story.
Thank you. I just don't sleep. I don't sleep. That's why.
Okay. Thank you for saying that, because I was wondering, how do you manage to do that?
Not a lot of sleep. I'm very good at color coding my calendar. It's just priorities. I mean, the most of my time I spend as the CEO of a healthcare company. And then also doing philanthropy work when I can, investment work, but it all ties together. So it's I don't know. I think if you prioritize what's important to you, then you take the time
and you flow.
To make the time.
So you go with the flow, yeah. I guess.
Yeah. I don't believe in like things needing to be at 8 hours, in a day, and then you can't have any time for anything else. If you get all your work done and everything you need, then you have time for everything else.
Yeah, well, if you have the motivation and also the energy, at the end, work is not work. And also, well, it's not like you have to be 8 hours working as an investor. It's like, okay, right. You pick the right time and do that. Exactly. But time management is a thing.
Yes.
And when you became an entrepreneur, this is one of the biggest issues to learn, at least for me.
It is.
Because at the beginning, you have to do everything. And afterwards, it's like, okay, I do not need to do that. Okay, yeah.
It's just priority. I mean, I'm an engineer, so we know how to manage. We manage time, we manage projects, we manage life. And I think it's like, it gave me that skill. And I don't know, I'm a woman. I mean, women know how to prioritize and manage things more than one thing at a time. So I think it's
suppose so.
Yeah.
But like, okay. I do not say if I can say that. It's like, I would prefer to not say that. And that's it. Tell me about your beginning, the origins.
Yeah.
So how did you ended up being an entrepreneur, or what was the first?
I had no plans of being an entrepreneur ever in my whole lifetime. Never. So I am an engineer. I wanted to go to space.
To space?
Yeah, to space. And hopefully I will, because I still have my tickets. So, now I'll go as a tourist. But I want to just learn and do things. And I became an engineer. I got recruited into healthcare. It was a job. I didn't know. And I stayed. I was always a champion of women and women in STEM, women in engineering. And so from there, I was always championing women. And I was recruited into a healthcare company just as a job change. It was the #1 women's health company in the world.
Okay.
So that helped. And I found
Definitely.
my passion. I found my passion. I found what I really wanted to do. Through them, I also moved to another country and I founded Her Healthy Q, which is a global nonprofit. And so I was able to merge a lot of my passion and my life together. And I became an entrepreneur, not for anything that I planned in my whole life. A company was downsizing or making changes. There was a lot of acquisitions happening and I decided to leave. And I was supposed to, everyone told me to become a consultant. They told me that, but assumed that I was going to join a company like McKinsey or Ernst & Young.
Okay.
Instead, I don't know, I was stubborn and I created my own. And so that's how I became an entrepreneur. But I never in my lifetime imagined that I was going to be one. And I just never thought, I never planned for it. Not sure that I would ever plan for it, but it turned out everything that I was doing in the companies and sometimes why I got in trouble is because I was finding new ways to do things. And I was discovering and coming up with some creativity. And that's what entrepreneurs do. They solve problems, they fix things. And that's, I think I was always an entrepreneur, but didn't know.
Yeah, and well, that ability from entrepreneurs sometimes is the key to do not match a company.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to go back into a very large company. I'm sure one day I will, but it's going to be very hard. It would have to be a very specific, flexible, job. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years now, and it's nice to just be able to pick and choose who my clients are, what I wanted to work on, what I'm excited about. I'm blessed. I'm very lucky to be able to do that because I created this whole area and this niche that's mine. And that's women's health, which is, the #1 growing industry in the world and it's not for a good reason that it's growing. It's growing because it was at zero and there's nowhere to go but up. So, it was a very small industry and now it's growing. We're 51% of the population. We need investment. We need healthcare. We need innovation. And so, I found an industry, thank God, that's growing.
Exactly. So that's growing and has a lot of impact.
Yes.
So because right now we are discovering a lot of things that we didn't know before. Because we talk about with another guest. Everything in the medical sector has been designed by men.
Yes.
For men.
Yes.
So right now, in the 10 years that you have been working on this, was the best discover that you had?
Well, I've been in the industry for 24 years. I've been in women's health for 20 years.
Well,
in 20 years, what's the biggest discovery? The sad part is that women are not invested in. Women are not invested in. Our health is not invested in. Women entrepreneurs are not invested in. Women only receive 2% of all venture capital. 2%. We're 51% of the population. We make 85% of all of the healthcare decisions for men and women and children. Yet we get 2% of the investment? That's insane.
Why is that? What do you think?
94% of all investment is controlled by men. And so they don't want to hear the word breast or vagina or they don't know what ovarian cancer is. They barely even know where the ovaries are. They don't know what endometriosis is. They don't know that women present differently for heart attacks. They just assume, and so does the entire medical community until recently, that women, when they have a heart attack, they don't clutch their chest. They have a backache. They have a stomach ache. They don't feel well. They feel off. That's a heart attack as well. Could be anxiety, it could be menopause, it could be all these things. But there hasn't been enough research to understand that, nor has there been enough education in the healthcare system. So, I don't know, what I have found is that there needs to be more women innovators, women entrepreneurs, women leading companies. When women lead companies, we have a 3 times greater performance than an all-male team. It's because we have diversity of thought. And listen, I developed the 3D mammography system. Was originally developed by a man. It is the correct technology. to screen for breast cancer. But I mean, it's for most people, it's painful.
Yeah.
And, there's better innovations, but that's what the technology is. I mean, I can just start listing them off. There's so many because they were designed by men. And I mean, you even think about in the surgical suite, there's very few women orthopedic surgeons. And the reason is the people who created the machines to do the surgeries are men. And so the women have just generally smaller hands and they can't grip the equipment correctly.
It's all about design.
Women need to be involved in design and innovation and investment and leadership, everything.
I don't know in the USA, but here in Spain, most of the people that are in the universities are women.
Yeah.
I mean, the future of healthcare is women.
Yes.
It's like...
Same thing in Costa Rica. So I used to live in Costa Rica. I think it was something like 60% of all engineering graduates were women. So it gives me hope. In the US, it's not there yet, but it's getting there. I mean, I was in a new program many years ago, 24 years ago, when I graduated, but I was in manufacturing engineering, a brand new discipline, and we had 50-50 women and men. We did in every other engineering discipline, it wasn't the same, but there were more coming, and I see a lot more because there's a lot more focus and allowing girls to be interested in science and math.
That's a thing.
They're actually, women and girls are actually naturally better at it. It's just the way we think until you tell them that they can't. And then they don't. And that thankfully has stopped.
Well, I mean, hopefully.
I hope it's the future. And I hope there are more women engineers and women graduates of school. Like that's absolutely how it should be.
I was talking with a big foundation here in Spain. They have created a program for developers. They give free development 3 years in a really high level. And they didn't have any women abroad. So until they launched the first program just for women. So that was in that way, they get more women because they were not really comfortable surrounded by men.
Yeah.
So in huge.
It's very intimidating and they don't think that they can compare, which is absolutely not true. But it's what they think.
Well,
let's change it. Let's just change it.
Let's change it. And also, let's start to change the idea of that we need to compare to others in that way. I mean,
Correct.
you are unique.
Correct.
It's like you are the way you are, and you have your talents, and your talents might not be the ones who have it in the...
Everyone's gifted in something.
Yeah. What was your gift?
Never accepting the status quo.
Wow, that's a huge one.
Yeah, in some things I do, but in some things I don't. I'm like a 3-year-old child. I always ask why.
Why is that?
Why? Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why it can't be like that. Tell me why we can't change it. Or tell me how we can make it better. I think that's what it is. And you know what? I found personally my passion to improve women's health. However I need to go about to do that, that's how I'm going to do it. And so I'm lucky that's I guess that's my superpower.
Well, that's a superpower. So that definitely.
I'm very lucky.
In what have you been working recently that you are super proud of?
So there's a lot of things, but 2 of them. I'm the CEO of Deep Look Medical, which is a software technology company, and we focus on oncology and radiology. And specifically, right now, we have our product that's launched and FDA cleared in dense breast tissue. So we're the only technology that can see inside dense breasts using existing mammography technologies. So maybe the 45% of all women around the world can maybe know if they have cancer or don't, or know if there's something that they should get further imaged or not. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm also really excited about with Her Healthy Q, we continue to launch new programs, and it's a global nonprofit focused on women in developing countries. And we've already impacted over 40,000 women's lives with better health.
Amazing.
And that translates to their family and to their community. And that's important.
And that's
That's-
caring also.
Yeah. And that's the work. Like it's a circular economy, and we're repurposing equipment and getting it to where it needs to go. So, I mean, those two things, I mean, listen, it's my mission in life to be helping women, and I hope millions and millions of women get helped with both projects, all the projects, everything I work on the investment side in. There's so much to do. So
Yeah.
better health for women. That's what I'm most proud of every day. Even if it's one woman. That's one woman. That's one girl,
life.
one life. Maybe her daughter can go to school. Maybe she can develop the cure for cancer. Maybe she's a Nobel Prize winner. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. And I need to make sure that everyone has the opportunities that I was grateful to have.
That's a good mission, a nice one.
It's not easy every day.
No.
Let's just be clear. I don't wake up every day and spring out of bed. I'm like weird Barbie over there who, I'm like, oh no, I gotta put it all together. But, every day there's a moment where I think about it and I'm like,
At the end, is worth it.
it's worth it. Every day is not sunshine and rainbows, but when you put it all together, it works.
I usually do several questions, which is I started the big fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, here
Easy.
in Spain, is not allowed to fuck up. It's like, okay,
no,
so
not in the US either.
it's
But
like-
now everyone's starting to get proud of it.
like, oh my God. And like, if you fail, you are like garbage. And then,
Yeah. I should have gone into a very large consulting firm instead of creating my own firm.
really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Hey, ¿os está molando el episodio? Pues dejad un comentario por aquí, mandadnos un me gusta o envíaselo a alguien. Toda ayuda es poca para que podamos seguir creciendo. Y ahora, a continuar.
I think I would have been even further along
Because of the contacts?
because of the contacts, because of the credibility of being in those companies and having that network, which I don't have because I didn't go down that pathway. I don't think I would have lasted very long. And I probably would have also created my own firm, but I would have been a little bit more prepared. When I left corporate after 15 years, I didn't have a plan. I just left. I don't know what I was thinking. I had no plan, and that's a huge mistake of mine.
Okay.
I think like if you're planning to do something, have a plan. Do it while you're working, while somebody's paying you, while you're doing something else, and then make a transition. It's a little smarter. I wasn't super smart with that.
No,
I mean, it
but-
worked out. I'm very grateful. It worked out.
I mean-
But it would have been maybe a little bit easier if I did that.
Yeah, well, sometimes we pick the hardest part.
We do, and I do every day, and I don't know why.
That's the thing. I mean, yes, I know that I should go to work for a big consultancy firm because of the contacts and so on. It's the same here in Spain.
yeah.
I had the same question for myself. And it's like, really? Should I do that? Digo, yeah. At the end,
Yeah,
the contacts are important. The
They are.
network is important.
it is.
I want to think that there is still another way to do that because you did it.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of ways to do it. I think it would have been easier
Yeah.
going that route and then leaving.
Just for a year or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
year
to
or
have the
two.
logo.
Exactly.
To
To
have-
logo, the network, the people, all of that. Yes. The plan.
That's it. What did you do after finish that? I mean, just started your company?
Yeah, I
or
left corporate and I started my company the next day.
Do you have it clear? I mean, that,
I had nothing else to do. Like I had to do something.
yeah.
So I did. Again, in New York, failure is not an option either.
Yes.
It's very hard. So
Yeah.
you have to keep going and figure it out.
Are you from New York? I mean,
Yes, New York
born
City.
and raised?
Yes.
I love that city. I lived there for 6 months and it was like, oh my God, my family lives there. Did you move to San Francisco?
No,
No.
I did a lot of work there for about 6 months
Okay.
in
And
Palo Alto. Yeah.
do you think it will be easier for you if you have moved to San Francisco or not? No.
I'm not a San Francisco person.
Okay. I mean, there is two kind of people:
two-
the ones
yeah.
who love San Francisco, or the ones who love.
Yeah, I
New
like
York.
to visit. That's all I need to do.
Okay.
Listen, I worked there for 6 months. I think it's a great place.
And that's it. Enough.
Yeah.
You tried.
Yeah, I'm an East Coaster.
Okay. Related to funding and venture capital.
Yes.
How is there in USA? I mean, have you thought about to go and ask for money or funding in other countries?
Yes, actually, one of our largest investors is from Switzerland.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's most of the majority of the capital is in and around the U.S. So it's there. There's a lot of infrastructure. But I mean, for Deep Look, we're going after capital anywhere in the world. I mean, I'm meeting with investors here. I'm meeting with investors. I'm on my way to Vienna for another large conference right after this, meeting with investors there. And so I'm equal opportunity. Money is green and it helps us, a women's health company grow.
Every place.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there is a lot more availability in the US. I think in Europe, there's a lot of availability of capital related to social impact. That's very important. Obviously, what I do is very social impact focused. So I gravitate towards that. Also for the nonprofit, there's a lot of infrastructure in both places. So yeah, I think there's opportunity in both.
Okay. Well, I mean,
What do you know? You knew the landscape here. I know it a little less.
It's not so. I mean, people. I used to say people in Spain, please go to USA. The
That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah,
it's also the largest market, the largest individual singular market.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
to come here, you have to have a really good reason. So,
Correct.
or a big corporation
Yes.
who's working from here, and definitely we have several.
Of course.
But Europe is a different story, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're in Europe, you have to target the US. If you're in the US, you start in the US and then you target everywhere else. But it also depends on the network.
Yeah.
I'll get to other European investors through one of our existing investors. So I think it's again, it goes back to network.
Yes.
It
Well,
goes back to network. The way that I'm speaking to other investors here, in Barcelona and also, in Vienna and other places in Europe, it's through a network.
at the end, it's all about the people.
It is.
It is. Regarding to the ecosystem in New York,
Yes.
I mean, how is that? There is a lot of women, or
A lot of women. A lot of women. There's a lot of there's a core group of us that are focused on women's health as well.
Okay.
So we get together often. Also,
you
in
get
New-
together often.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that.
we have different like every month at least, and then other side events. We also share a lot of common contacts and like use the same PR for agency because we all like it, and I saw what one was doing and I said, who's your PR firm? And we hired them because they were good,
Well, you share the knowledge.
Yeah, we share the knowledge. Also in New York City, the mayor of New York has put a very large initiative together
Okay.
for women. And the deputy mayor, she champions it, and it's a woman. And so she's championing change in women's health and improvement in women's health in New York City alone. Because there's such disparities between just a few miles. A few kilometers away, there is a very large difference in maternal mortality. So a woman should really get, if she's having a baby, she should get in a taxi and come downtown instead of having it where she lives. That should not happen in the same city.
It's crazy.
So yeah, so there's a lot of work going about that. There's a lot of focus, and there's more companies. New York is becoming there's a lot of innovation happening because a lot of these firms and people are spinning out of the firms and the bigger companies and the consultants. There's a bit of an ecosystem for us to be there. There's not large manufacturing facilities, but a lot of things are digital now, and you don't need that. Or leadership. We're all based in New York, and then we travel. Listen, as long as there's an airport, when there's 3 of the largest airports in the world, I think we're okay.
You have a mobile phone, so
Exactly.
you can work in any place in the world. So
Exactly.
That's it.
I spent COVID my entire time in Manhattan. So, I mean, it's fine.
Regarding to the projects that you are developing right now,
Yes.
Tell me some data or about the impact that you are having.
Yeah. So for Her Healthy Q, we are deploying multiple projects per year, which should impact in probably 2 or 3 years, over 1 million women.
Wow.
So, because it compounds and because it's equipment that can be used many, many years in the future. And so you keep using it. So it's for cervical cancer screening, breast cancer screening, maternal health, and heart disease. And so there's different things that we're doing. So our goal is to impact 1 million women in just a few years. So that's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Deep Look, we are hoping to reduce the number of biopsies. And we have some clinical studies that are running now, and I can't share all the details, but it's looking very promising that we can reduce the number of callbacks for biopsies. 98% of all biopsies are not needed, or they're for benign cancers, or non-cancers. And so if you can reduce the anxiety, the stress, the having to go back multiple times for tests even before that, the time a woman spends away from her family, away from work, away from everything productive, living her life, and anxiety and thinking about it and not sleeping, that's not good for your health either. And then shoving a very large needle into a breast for 98% of the time is not needed. Even if we can reduce that by 5%, that's incredible.
That's amazing.
And so those are the things that we're working on. But yeah, we're working in dense breasts. Like, women should have 45% of all women. It's kind of a black box when they get their mammogram. We want to give them better insights. And so, yeah, we're commercial stage now. We're scaling and we're growing, and revenue should be coming in. So it's exciting. It's exciting for a women's health company led by a woman. And we also have some women investors, and like very
That's
specifically
nice.
went out to get women investors. And so, I think putting more of these statistics, out. We just closed a funding round of $1.7 million. We're raising $5 million in a Series A. These are statistics that we want to keep putting out. We will have an exit as well. We're planning to exit the company 12 to 18 months. That's another statistic that gets to go into the women's health ecosystem so that we can continue to show there's progress, there's things happening, there's deals being done, so that the people from the outside who are looking in to say, this is exciting. This is a place for us to be investing. Because they keep saying there's no data. There's plenty of data, they're just not looking at it. But every time anybody in women's health does something, we need to celebrate it. We need to mark that as an achievement. We need to add it to the list of, of milestones for everybody.
Do a specific effort to do that.
Yes,
Wow.
we have to do it. So those are the few things that I'm looking forward to, and maybe I'll take a vacation sometime soon.
maybe. Where did you go? Where do you want to go?
Anywhere. I want to go where there's no cell phone service and there's a beach and nobody talks to me.
Yeah. Like, okay, is that no one?
Nowhere. I mean, I don't know where I'm going to go. Not even Antarctica.
What would you do if you retire?
I would do the philanthropy work full time if I retired. So it's not technically retirement.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, that shows that definitely you are
Yeah.
doing what you love the most. It's like, yeah.
I would do philanthropy work if I could. If I could full time.
What are you doing regarding to philanthropy right now?
Well, so HealthTech is full philanthropy. And so we're deploying projects, we're raising capital. We are looking for partners and projects all around the world. We're in 9 countries already. 31 pieces of equipment have been deployed. We're planning to deploy another 100 this year, probably.
Oh my God, there's a lot of,
There's
how
a
many
lot.
people, work there?
We have a very great board who really does support. We have 2 team members that really help us, but it's a very small team.
Wow.
Yeah, we rely on our partners, and we rely on our teams that are on the ground. We don't do that. We partner with people in each country to do the work. We just get them what they need to do their jobs. They know how to do them.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and because most of the time, we're empowering women. It's women who are the technicians and the clinicians and the nurses and potentially the doctors.
Make a wish.
Yes.
What will be that wish?
That I never have to talk about women's health again because everyone knows what it is.
And pick a trend in terms of, if you have to focus on solve something in digital, what will be that?
Oh, it's a good one. I think how to ensure AI is ethical and is diverse and make sure that it's trained and used, obviously in the right way. And 99% of the time it is. It's that 1% that isn't. But, I'd love some guardrails. At Deep Look, we are AI, we are a tech. And so, it's always a risk. But we make sure that our data is trained with diverse data sets, including Black women, Asian women, different types of women, different geographies, different locations. That's important. And I think everybody needs to make sure that that's part of their technology and their innovation. So making sure it's ethical, it makes sense, it's for all people. And like that's what I like. That's where I want the innovation to go in general.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's skewed to white men still, and that live in the US.
We will be doing the same mistake.
Yes.
Where do you put the limit? Because at the end, to be focused just on white male, definitely that's not good.
No.
But regarding to product development, you need to put that limitation. Otherwise, you are going to be working and do not providing with any service at all. Like the endless loop.
Exactly.
So where do you put the limitation? I mean, when do you stop?
I don't know if you can stop. I don't know, but you need to include all people, and it needs to be the global percentage of the diverse population. That's a start, at least.
Yeah.
If the innovation is going to be on a global scale, then it should be innovated for the whole world. So I think you need to, if the entire world is, 50% of a certain rate, well, then it needs to be trained on that too. I mean, you need to start somewhere so that it's controlled,
Exactly.
and then you need to open and continue to open it up. But I think the first iteration should be diverse too.
Yeah.
Because then it's biased, and it's very difficult. This is where data and biostatisticians come in, and they have to do their jobs correctly, and they need to do it ethically. It's very hard. It shouldn't be that hard, because it shouldn't be something that we have to say, but we do.
I guess it will be like, okay, you study Black women, Asian women, white women.
Yeah.
Isolated, and afterwards
then you pull in other people.
Exactly. It's like, okay, so
right.
on. So
right. So at that point,
you're using the algorithm to different.
To learn, to continue to learn.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one who's working on.
No, me neither. Thankfully, I have a team to do that.
Yeah.
Totally. I just guide the policy.
What would you say is the hardest thing to do in your job?
Not to get too deep into the details. I like the details. I also used to be the one managing the details and doing the details. So I have to continue to remember to sometimes step out of the details and trust the team around me to do them.
Yeah.
To do them and to lead. It's my job to lead. And my job to be forward thinking and look for the future. And all of my teams always say, "You're crazy." Well, that's now my job. It's my job now to have these crazy goals. And even if we get halfway there, it's incredible.
Yeah.
1 million women in 3 or 4 years. Listen, even if we get 500,000, that's huge.
Gonna be amazing. Yeah.
For us to release a new product in 5 months, okay, great. Like that, even if it's 6 months, those are incredible things. And so I have to be the one to put it out there, to almost be the visionary, to put these larger goals out there and trust the team to execute and tell me when it's not going to happen, or tell me what the plan is to get us close.
Someone tells you that you are crazy?
Every day.
How did you fight back that?
That I have enough skill and knowledge to get me to where I am now. I'm not that crazy.
And you're confident. Super confident.
It's confident enough to say, you know what, that's not true. And if you don't believe it, then find somebody else.
That's it.
There's a lot of great people out there in the world.
Great people.
Great people.
Yeah.
So you just need to find the right ones.
I founded an association in Spain, Female Startup Leaders. You need to find the right people who are crazy enough to actually
Believe.
believe.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's important. Some of them should have done something relevant before to
Exactly.
give you some guidance.
Yeah.
But it's important that you are not surrounded by great people the whole time.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's like,
I don't like being surrounded by yes people.
just people.
People who say yes, they say yes. Because then it's not true.
Yeah.
And it's also cultural. I mean, I used to work in Latin America. People just say yes, but don't do. I want people to say yes, and here's the results, not just yes, 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 yes.
And nothing.
And then don't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun to be part of the challenge. Yes,
Well-
we can do this, or yes, but, it's a dialogue.
Yeah. Well, to lead teams is complicated.
Very
I guess.
complicated.
I mean, what will be your recommendation to someone who's scaling right now?
Work on different types of teams so that you understand the leader that you want to become.
Wow, amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
develop that. I mean, the leader you want to become.
You have to learn. You have to learn what you don't like. You have to learn what you do like. You have to learn what works, what doesn't work, how it works. Different types of people also work differently.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand how to work with all types of people, how to communicate effectively, how to communicate differently.
Did you train that? I mean, specifically, or
No.
it was just?
I mean, I took some training classes and along the way in management classes. I have an MBA, but I also learned different types of leadership skills. I'm certainly not the expert in it. But I would say you have to learn. Like, I worked on teams that worked really well, and I worked on teams that didn't work well. And I take from each one,
and sometimes
and I have my own strategy and skill. Some people like it, some people don't, and that's okay.
totally fine. I usually do a question. What will be your hidden talent in a zombie awakening?
I think I'm gonna be like the good, after the zombies come, to pick up the pieces, to figure out how to move on.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know. I saw the question on the list, and I've been thinking about it. I was wondering. I am wondering what my talents was, and then you know what? I'm going to ask other people around me what they think it is, because I think that's an interesting question.
It's not so silly as it seems,
It's not as silly as it seems,
okay,
yeah. Yeah.
in an urgency
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and it's also figuring out what to do in an emergency. I think I'd be the one to pick up the pieces afterwards and figure out how to move on, how to live life after the zombies are here or gone or ruined most of the world or something like that.
You're an
I'm not sure I'm going to be
optimist.
the zombie though, so I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I'll just hide in the
hope no.
basement and hopefully they don't find me, and then I'll pop out.
yeah. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
I hope I never see them, so I don't know.
We hope never
We
see
hope.
it. Pick a color and choose a message to draw here.
Oh wow.
Every guest is writing something for the future. A wish to women in healthcare and in entrepreneur world. So
Wow.
serve yourself. I mean, choose
Great.
what you want to say.
Focus on women's health and keep going. Simple.
Simple and effective.
Yes.
So this is my gift for you.
you.
I mean, this is a Techno Perra Global, which means Techno Beach Global, Global Techno
love it.
Beach. That's it. And this is a number of your episode.
Wonderful.
So welcome. Thank you so much for for giving me that time, and I hope you enjoy it. So
Wonderful.
thank you so much
Thank
for fighting for
you.
our rights,
My pleasure.
and please keep going on and keep pushing.
I will.
Okay, this is it. Incredible interview. This is super easy when you have a champion like her here. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it and see you next week. Nos vemos la semana que viene. Nos aventuraremos en más, me lo diréis, dejármelo en los comentarios, porque si mi inglés es pésimo, yo lo dejo, ¿vale? O no, ya veremos, lo mejoraremos. Hasta luego.
La verdad es que Marissa nos ha dejado ahí ciertos datos que dan un poco que pensar. ¿Es que la inversión está siendo suficiente? ¿Es que no lo está siendo? ¿Faltan mujeres? ¿Falta por trabajar los hombres que sean un poquito más conscientes de sus sesgos? ¿Faltan incluso algunas mujeres por trabajar sus propios sesgos? Yo creo que es una combinación de todo, pero lo que está claro es que lo que deberíamos es crear espacios de convergencia, porque si no generamos diálogo, esto jamás va a cambiar. Como venimos diciendo siempre, nos vemos la semana que viene, pero recuerda, inspírate, atrévete y cambia el mundo. Woof, woof.